Okay. Today I'm going to work just in this area here so that I want to complete this whole bottom bit. So I've pulled the camera a little bit closer, so hopefully I'll try to remember to stay in frame. Got my little jar. I'll start with stitching on Mum and Dad. Start with, and I always use up all the bits. This is just going to be a really simple, oops, oh, lost my end. A really simple straight stitch, I think, to start with. Let me warm up a bit. Yes, I always use big needles and big scissors, and you're probably thinking that is crazy, but that's just what I find easiest, funnily enough. I love these little people. I think they're an inspiration from Margaret Sampson George and all of the fabulous applique that she does. I'm just going to go all the way around him. I don't use any basting or anything. I actually quite like the bumps and when it's not completely flat. I know some people probably hate that, but I love it. That skill of perfection is not something that I have, so I have to embrace the bumps. I'll give this little guy a name. I think he's a Murphy or a Wally. And sometimes remember, when you're doing this sort of stuff, you don't have to go through all the layers all the time if it gets too thick. Sometimes I get to a spot where I have to just go through maybe the one layer directly behind, particularly if I get to a seam underneath or I've got multiple seams on each other. This little guy. Not even nearly done. I like to have a fair bit to tie off because I'm not, my skills art that of neat, tidy work. Let's have a look. And I went to Vinnie's the other day and I picked up these, 50 cents each. That one, this really nice chocolate brown. And I do tend just to use what I get at Vinnie's. Sometimes I have to go buy black. There's always this sort of colour. You can buy it at an op shop. And I certainly grab any colours. I always see these are rehomed, so they've come from someone, saves them going into landfill, and they can come and decorate my work, which makes me very happy. Was it this colour? And I always use really long threads, so again I can imagine some of you going, oh my god, her thread's so long, but that's just, well, I guess that's not how it works for me, because my threading and needle skills are very poor, and it's probably the thing I hate the most out of everything, is threading the needles. So I tend to do them in batches, so I don't have to stop work to do it. Well, guy's got no tail, I just realised. I'll have to do something about that. I'm up in Bundy, so my studio's under my house, my Queenslander, so I've got all the doors open and 3 fans on at the moment, but sometimes on these days by about 1 o'clock it's just too hot to be down here, which is okay. Then I take some hands. I'm very grateful to have such a massive, beautiful sewing area, so I just take some hand stuff and go upstairs. But while I am here, I will certainly get stuck into this little guy. Again, I do use quite big needles, but quite often they've got to go through quite a few layers, and quite a few of the things I use are quite thick if I'm using old embroideries or old needle points and this sort of thing, and particularly if I'm using pieces of blocks that have got seams. So sometimes I'm pushing through layers that a finer sort of applique needle just wouldn't handle at all. So, I mean, there is a challenge sometimes because this needle can split fabric, but again, I just go with it. I like the look of things rough around the edges and frayed. So I just embrace it as part of the slow stitching beauty. I think about a tail for this guy. You can't have a little dog with no tail. I think it's a dog. Well, I'm going to interpret him as a dog. So I might just have to find a little bit of something to give him a bit of a tail. I guess my biggest tip for anyone starting slow stitching kind of like this is just don't overthink it. It's just a piece of fabric. Stitch it on, cut it up. If you don't like it, undo it. You know, there's no rules, it's just what you like. He's very cute. I think I'll do this one in the white. Okay, I don't want that to be too much contrast for her. Mum with it, right? I might put an apron on her though. Alright, I have one ready. I'll start with this bit. So whenever you go to an op shop, always check the crochet cotton drawer. They usually have one. 50 cents. You know, these are $10 to buy new, and you're, you know, reusing and recycling. So I like it when I end up with colours that I may not have bought if I had, you know, gone to Spotlight deliberately, for example, because then I need to challenge myself to use different things. I'm not sure that I have farm vinegar. I'm actually going to start here and go down for her. So I'll do some long stitching all the way down her dress, I think. Is that read my stone frame? Yep. Nice. And I just love adding texture like this. Don't think about it too much. Sometimes the fabric will kind of give you an idea or a direction to take. Just do it. I think quite like that. Just put around a bit before I tie off. Needle is actually a bit finer. I think that was actually this guy down the bottom. This one's thicker. Again, this is another purchase from Vinnie's. I think these were in a little Tupperware container full of all different thicknesses of this colour. I think it was like $2 for about 8 of them. So they keep me going for a while. Yep. Dad's having a dance. Calm down, Dad. And I'm deliberately not being too straight because it's not my look. Naive, wonky, off-center look, that's me. And I'm just debating about whether to go crossways for the top bits. Let's just see what happens. This bit does drive me a bit crazy when I'm catching all my pins go out around there. You. Come on. And another one here. Again, I don't want it to look even, so I'm deliberately not lining up the ends of my stitches. Excellent. And we're coming back up here. And this all just adds a lovely texture that you kind of can't really see what it is, but you can just pick up on the bumps and the bubbles and the different treatment of everything. Again, yes, trying not to be straight. And sometimes you can just go off the edge. Look at that. Go wild. I can hear some of you breathing in deeply. Oh no, did I just pull it off? Not quite. I haven't figured out a way to film and listen to an audio book yet, but you know, I will eventually. I might go back and make these into crosses yet, I haven't decided. See how I feel when it's done. Just there, aren't you? I'll hop off there for a bit, Dad. No, I'm good with that. That's good. Now we need to go back the other way. Let's just check that the head's in the right spot. Going under everything there. This is a little off cut of something or other that I made. That's it. That's you done, Mildred. Three for good luck. Always. All right, Barry, back you come. Baz. What am I going to do with you? I am actually just going to use black on you. Have I got a black ready? No. Oops, sorry, team. All right, come on, needle. There are some days when I literally cannot thread a needle. This is so good. It's probably the worst needle to choose because it's probably the finest holes. Nope. Try another one. Should we hold hands? Are we holding hands? I don't know. Maybe. Let's do that. They're newly married. I want you to make too much while I go around you. Sorry, that's not dirt, it's a bruise. Right. Not to choose the elements that stand out. Sometimes it's nice just to be right. Hey.
Hey. Dropped on the beach.
Yes.
Some metallic Guns N' Roses.
Did he put his Life 360 back on?
You should have heard that.
Has Zach got your car?
Yeah. You heard from him?
Zach?
Yeah.
No? Why? Where'd he go? This is a very nuclear little family, I guess, with a man and a woman and a dog. On this piece, so I guess me and my husband. to go down straight. Sometimes I accidentally stitch straight and I don't want to stitch straight. Do. Oh, I do like to give you an idea of the time. Let's see, 10:50. See how long stuff takes. I guess I do actually sew quite quickly. Three for good luck. Yeah. There's nothing coming unstitched in this quilt. Right. Big plans to go to the beach with.
Excellent.
Have you been to the Gulf?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's good. Yeah.
That's good. Right, so kind of think of each bit as its own little thing. Make sure I've got texture and background and colour. Also without overthinking it. So I'm going to just stitch across these with, look, what's this one doing? Just use a little bit of this up to stitch these in place. Look at that needle. Actually that's good, they're holding them down. I'll just put you there. I'm just going to go to decide how to make you look. Ah, mosquito, fabulous. I'm just going to do some, echo what's on the print at the back and do a little bit of I'm just going to be inspired by this. I'm going to do some stitches across and across and just see how I like it. again, trying to use up everything. That's not going to work for me. I'll just strip that. I'm just going to have to go and move that fan a little bit closer. Come on. It's hot. Oh, it's a bit better. No, I don't have much of that left. Up and down. Oops, am I pulling out of the screen? Yes. Safety. One more bit, I think. I'm going to have to tie this one off. Come on, there we go. That was this one, Vinnie's. Another Vinnie's pickup. Well, Wi-Fi, I think. Again, this stitching that I do is not any sort of skilled embroidery. Some of the women I see do some fabulous stuff. Kind of very naive and folksy, I guess. Is that the word? Am I in the screen? Yes, I am. I'm going to start here. Just going to start outside here a bit. Maybe about there. Just going to fit another little stitch there so I can see the pattern. This stage I'm going to do the red, see how I feel about the rest of it. Not straight. Okay. Hold on to me. That's good. Just there, I think. Again, we don't want it to be the same ever. Some pieces go off, some pieces don't. It's amazing how much time one little bit can take. Yeah, that makes me happy. I like that. And up here. So that's it. It's amazing how beautiful and soft this feels on the bit that I've finished stitching, because most of the materials are already worn and old and loved, so they're all soft. So it's not rigid, it's not stiff. It feels like its own thing going on. And do that to there. And then have a think about it. So you're going there, like that. And do a few more bits out here because I'm a bit lost. Nice finished scratch. I don't want to go. I don't want neat crosses. I'm going to end up with a couple. Trying this one all together. Better. Just don't like that now, so I'm like, put across here and then I'll be done. It's good. Alright, I'm happy with that. Something else. You can see here, like this is actually a seam on the back. At the same time, there's a seam here, so it's actually quite thick. Go under there. Yeah, I might stitch this blue down to stop it moving around the place. Come on. It's just hard to pin. Let's start with some. I'm going to actually use some blue that I got at Vinnie's. I don't necessarily want that to be contrasted. This is a very... I don't know how to start this. What happened with you, buddy? You can go back around there. There's my needle. So sometimes stitching down the top layer inadvertently stitches down the layers underneath. You need to make sure you're all lined up. How are you? You need to be straight. will stop as I go on this. Can you see that? I'm going to pin a bit better while I am sewing him. Sorry, Mum's ringing.